Well. It's another wonderful day here in the Splinterlands universe. It is a pleasure to have everybody joining us. We have a little bit of a calmer town hall than we've had in a little while. Just we're all trying to get up to speed and stay with production schedules and do all the things that we're working on. So it's a little bit more of an easy pace today. Okay, so I'm Aggro. I'm the CEO and one of the founders of Splinterlands. And this here is a town hall, and this is where we gather and we kind of answer questions from the community and go over stuff. Just quick format things. It typically starts with the company giving an introduction and talking through some of the things that we're working on. Then we go to a kind of like a prepped Q&A where questions that were left in the Discord are answered not quite in the order that they came in, but we clean up the questions a little for like semantics and readability. And then at the end of the show, we'll have a complete free-for-all MMA, or not MMA, AMA. Sometimes it feels like an MMA where you guys are like punching and hitting me, but I know that that's not always intended. So that's going to be the show format today. And I guess what we're going to start with, we can do like a quick team stand-up here where everybody can just sort of share what they're planning on talking about. And once we do the team stand-up, then we can dive into some of the individual pieces here. So we have three of our primary team member guests here today. We got Brybro, WeirdBeard, and Chatter. Brybro, why don't you kick us off and tell us what we're working on today?
Sure. So I'm Brybro, Brybro27, QA engineer. I'll be going through some release notes that are slated for tomorrow's release.
Yeah, and this is kind of a new segment, but we want to do a better job of making sure that people know what's coming, when it's coming. Some of that is like on hard point in the and the product roadmaps, but some of that is like a lot more local about like what's happening tomorrow. And so we're going to try to keep some of the support team or the QA team that's here with us to talk about that. WeirdBeard, what's on your brain?
We have more tournament numbers. We also want to promote our new upcoming very first Splinterlands Open tournament that's going to be happening, making sure people know that they have to KYC to be able to get into that, and also talking a little bit about what we're hoping to accomplish with tournaments over the next couple of months.
Rock on. And then lastly, we have with us Chatter. Chatter is being shy today, and he's not appearing on camera. Are you as beautiful as always, Chatter?
Looking a little homeless today, not gonna lie. It was a 4:30 start for me today, and also fighting a little bit of a cold, so not the greatest look on me, but gonna be talking about everything Runi today.
All right, I'm pretty excited for Runi's. I hear I might not be the only one that's excited for Runi's.
No, there's gonna be some big news coming in the next 30 minutes or so.
Oh yeah, I guess since today's the day, we got to let everybody know who our big partner is and all that. So that's your reason to stay online, because he's got something pretty remarkable to share, and I think you guys are going to like what we're going to talk about. But before we get to that, he says with as like a little teaser in there, let's do our support tutorial with Royaleagle. I know that Royal can't stay here forever, so let's hop in and kind of get the some support tips this week.
Good morning, I'm Royaleagle, and I'm here to discuss our in-game governance. So Splinterlands allows the community to vote on the direction of aspects of the game through our SPS voting governance. You should have noticed that we recently added the new banner to let you know when there's a new proposal in. In order to get rid of that banner, you just need to vote on a proposal, either yes or no. Let's talk about the actual voting on the proposals itself. So when you go to the SPS proposal page, you'll notice that the proposals are there, and you can click on the name of the actual proposal there, and it'll take you to the sps.dao, where you can read more about the proposal and leave comments regarding the proposal. In order to vote on the proposal, you need to either vote on the up button or the down button. And if you change your mind at any time, you can also click back on whichever button you've already previously selected, or choose the other option to remove your vote. there's two main components to the SPS voting. The first one is that 10% of the current staked SPS needs to vote in order for the vote to be legitimate. And then in order for the vote to pass, 66% of the SPS must vote for the proposal for it to pass. And I just want to mention, Aggie, that Support did this is a little off topic of the SPS voting, but I know that one of the cool things about staking SPS recently is that we're going to be involved in airdrops, and the SPS GLX airdrop will drop shortly. And so Support made a little FAQ that'll drop now into the Discord, so everybody has access to that, so you guys can have some more information about what to expect with the SPS GLX airdrop that's happening shortly. That's all we have today.
Yeah, that sounds pretty important. Just high level on that. Are you personally familiar with the fact you just listed? Can I ask you questions about that real quick?
Sure, you can ask me a couple questions.
So, do I have to do anything? So, like, I own staked SPS. Do I have to register accounts in GLX? Do I have to hype them personally? What do I have to do in order to actually get these things?
So when you get GLX for the SPS, it automatically drops to your Hive wallet every day. If you want to move it around, you will need to create and register a GLS account.
Okay. So at some point, if I want to move it around, I have to do something, but at least to receive it, there's nothing that I have to do.
Correct. We'll drop it to you automatically.
And when I get it, is it staked? Is it liquid? How am I receiving it?
That part I'm not familiar with, Aggie. I'm sorry.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess everybody gets to find out in just the next day or two when this stuff goes live, allegedly. Just want to say this is going to be. Oh, some people are saying that the sound cut off. I don't know if that is cut off for everybody. Yeah, lots of folks are saying it's cut out. It's fine on the Twitch. Yeah, it seems like it's the bot. Yeah, this is just, it's one of these days. Are we in okay. Oh, Bulldog just said it's good on Discord. Yeah, it's definitely the Hive fork. Get messing with. It was Discord. Yeah. Oh, now I can hear myself too. That's creepy. All right. Well, moving right along. Yeah, so you guys will get it staked, or you'll get your, if you have your SPS staked, you will get GLX. It's coming your way, and we'll see what you guys do with it. But at some point, you're probably going to want to go log into the goals.genesisleaguesports.com and check out your balance and see what it's doing. It's going to take us a second to go get trading pools up and running and all the bridges and all this other stuff. Not everything will just roll out all at once, but these are the kinds of things that we're working on, and hopefully perfecting for not just this, but future launches as well. I mean, it's really my hope that more or less every single project that we do is going to have some sort of gift in it that's for the SPS stakeholders. So we'll see how all that goes. But in the meantime, hey, thanks, Royaleagle. Thanks for helping us out with that, and off you go. Okay, the next piece of this, we have some release updates. So maybe there's like a whole bunch of things that are happening tomorrow. So we asked WeirdBeard to kind of come on out, and we'll see how consistently we can do this, especially with the different sizes of releases. But wanted to get kind of a segment on the show about what's coming, and this is, again, it's less of the hey, let's go look for the next 3 quarters or 4 quarters. This is really meant to be like, what's happening tomorrow again? So, Bro, the man with the belt, the one, the only champion. I guess you're not the only, because we had 2 champions, but one of the only 2 champions of Splinterfest. Why don't you take us through what the releases are for tomorrow, and then I have a couple questions about the experience of playing in the first live tournament.
Sure. Thanks, Aggie. So I'll start off. Just have to add the disclaimer that everything that we put on this segment is not completely finalized. Everything I say is basically, what's currently slated, but there's always room where stuff may get pulled out and new stuff may get added in. So with that being said, tomorrow's release actually is going to be decently a smaller one, especially compared to last week's, just because to begin with, the team is mainly focused on getting tech modernization pushed out. So I can't say whether or not we're going to be rolling out more updates in regards to tech modernization tomorrow, but that was their biggest focus because that's kind of like the biggest project going on in the back end right now. But more so for this segment, it's going to be pertaining more to like quality of life items. And we only have a couple at least slated for tomorrow's release. Just to go through a couple of them, mainly we're updating our APIs. So if you guys are familiar with the auto delegation, that API call got updated. So now you can specify the type of delegation rewards that you want to put in. Before it only do all the SPS reward types all in one. Now you can kind of include or exclude certain ones. So whether you want to only do, wild rewards, modern rewards, land SPS, you can do that all within that API call. On top of that, we're also allowing percentages or fractions to be added into there. So I know that was a request for potentially region holders that are trying to send out that SPS rewards for anyone that has less than 10 plots. So those updates should be up there. Other than that, there's only a couple bugs that are being squashed in tomorrow's release, and that's about it. So I apologize for it not seeming to be, as big of a release tomorrow. But again, the main priority is tech modernization right now and trying to get that all pushed through. I did add the disclaimer, and again, if none of that gets pushed through tomorrow, please don't come at us saying it was promised. None of this is promised. We're just trying to highlight some things that the community should be aware, and rather than waiting for them to read the release notes tomorrow.
Now,
Read the release notes.
Are you familiar with tech modernization? Like, do you say something might be pushed live tomorrow? Like, do you want to talk about what that thing is at all and just explain where it fits in the roadmap or any piece, anything that you want to share in more detail other than it's a big project and we're working on it?
So I don't have too much information with it. I think right now the biggest lift is the login in the nav bar that's been giving the team some issues. And so if there is something pushed out, it should be affecting that. In terms of player, like the average player probably won't recognize anything if it does get pushed out. If anything, I think it makes our game more mobile friendly, especially again for the login and the nav bar. So I can't say whether or not that's going to be rolled out and if people will notice, but I just say keep on a lookout because again, once we get through these few issues with tech modernization, I think we're pretty close to wrapping that up and getting through it.
Yeah, I mean it's a big project overall. I'm trying to just get our code base streamlined so that it's easier to add things, easier to remove things, turn things on, turn things off, have it be mobile friendly, have it be mobile first. Like we built this tech stack over 4 years or 4.5 years now, and we didn't always know what we were trying to do, and now that we are more familiar with what we've tried to do. Now it's like, well, is this really the best that we can write? And we come back and we say, no, that there's some pretty big improvements that we can make. So, and oftentimes we have to like double and triple code things. So like some of our efficiency is lost because of it, in part because, we're doing it pre-validator and post-validator and pre-tech modernization and post-tech modernization. It's just like, there's a bunch of crap that we gotta deal with. And the more that we can get sort of one unified code base so that everything is working and we're all good, like that's going to cut down on the amount of wasted code time that our devs and our creatives are putting in, and we can just get a lot more efficient with what we're doing. And that's one of the big objectives here. All right.
Well, I'll speak on that real quick just to add to that. So the tech modernization we're doing, though, we're building other components on top of that in the future. So like LAN is going to be the biggest one that is being built on that just new infrastructure. So again, we always been saying this is a prerequisite. It is. And once we get this rolled out, then LAN can really get, more streamlines. And again, it's all going to be mobile friendly, and that's the biggest focus for that.
Yeah, land is going to be like as big as our current code base, is my guess, by the time that it's all the way done. And so it's a giant project, and like, we could just roll it out on the old infrastructure and watch it collapse or fail or not be able to scale appropriately, or we could do it the right way and make sure that, like, we're doing all the bits to make sure it scales, make sure it's easy to code, make sure it's easy to add on to, and that's what we're doing. So folks are like, when land, then it's like, well, we're working on it right now. You just can't, it'll like magically appear one day and it's all going to work, and you're going to be like, why didn't you just do that first? And we're going to be like, well, we had to go build all this stuff to make sure that when we actually rolled it out, it would function. It's not, this stuff isn't like private databases or just spinning up one more Amazon server. To deal in the land of the blockchain, you gotta, scaling is a massive issue, and how we handle it and how we're gonna to code it, it's a lot of work. So that's what we've been working on, folks. But I think we're getting down to the wire on this. We're still let's see, new land code is packageable, so it can run from old code. Yeah, I mean, ideally we're running all of this on the newest parts of this, but we'll see. Actually, maybe we should grab Farbitron and bring him on here. I don't know if he wants to talk about these things, but if he's in the audience, he would be one of the devs that I'd want to chat with. So we'll see if he's up for it. But anyways, Brybro, let's move away from that for a second. And why don't you go talk to me about your Splinterfest experience and playing in the live tournaments? You're now like one of the Splinterfest champions. How's that feel?
It's still kind of surreal, I'd say. Can't believe it happened. Didn't really expect it to happen in any way, but it did. I mean, it was such a great experience.
Well, first off, you're like an employee of Splinterlands. Do you think that gave you any advantages or disadvantages in the tournament? Did that help you, hurt you, or was it a non-issue?
I think I have to answer this question properly, but no, it really did not give me any advantage in any way. I would say, for the most part, collection-wise, I mean, I have a decent collection just because that's been my biggest goal, is to try to collect all the cards and play with them. So I have that experience. I've been playing in gold. I've been playing in diamond and champion as well. So I don't know, especially with our ghost card tournaments. I really like those. I think it's a great opportunity for everyone to get familiar with the cards, that they necessarily can't buy or rent for certain occasions. So I don't know. Going into it, I think that really levels the playing field. And so even, for someone like me that has a decent collection and is familiar with them, there's always people that, I don't know, there's RNG into the game too. So there's never a guarantee that experience is going to trump RNG. And sometimes that happens, sometimes it doesn't, but it worked for me, so I can't complain at all.
What do you think about seeing your matches on like a big live screen, or when you were playing, did you have like that crowd kind of form around you in the finals for the tiered tournament that you were in?
Yeah, it wasn't as big as the champion one, but that that makes complete sense. Yeah, there are definitely still people that were just watching me, which I wasn't too big of a fan. It's just kind of so much pressure, like judgments on over your shoulders, just kind of like watching every move. There was a group too, watching Schnapoon. I know he had kind of his following and he was fun to watch, but yeah, I mean, after all the games even went, got resolved, I think the biggest ones, I apologize, I have to call out Juno Kyo, but the game that I just got lucky and got like 3 stuns in a row and it ended up winning when everyone thought, I lost. I think that was the craziest one. And there was a crowd reaction.
There was a crowd reaction. I heard that from the booth I was standing in.
Yep. Yep. So I think Ginokyo will live in history just because of that game.
Yeah, he's gonna be pissed at this game forever. Just like you just get 3 stuns and a miss. It was hard. It was hard to watch that one. Yeah, that's the RNG gods like hand selecting you. Yeah, like no, it will not be Ginokyo. It'll be Brybro this time. I don't know. So when you're in the Discord or you're hanging out, does it make any difference? Did you get like lots of messages? Did people like call you champ or something now, or is it all the same?
I mean, it's still technically all the same. There's a lot of people that did reach out. I'm in a few guilds with like I have a main account which is all regular foils, and then a secondary account with all my gold foil collection. So a lot of them reached out. I technically, even the champion is in like the YGG Brawling Guild. And that's where my gold foil collection is as well. So we had like a whole kind of, they had us on stream too, just to talk about the experience. And they like to, elaborate that, both champions were in the YGG guild system. So it's cool to see that, it's not only an individual win that guilds, you build a community and they kind of celebrate that win with you. And they like to kind of claim, that we're part of them, and that just makes the guild so much better. So it's cool to see that interaction as well.
Yeah, I didn't realize the epic victory that really was the YGG. I guess I didn't think that I didn't think to look at the guilds or where people were stationed for that, but that's actually pretty impressive.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a testament to the guild. So kudos to them. Okay, well, I just wanted to congratulate you. Thanks for giving us kind of the what's up for tomorrow. I know it's a little bit of a smaller rollout, but there is one key piece that I think people are going to be excited about, and maybe we can go bring on Chatter here for the marketing update. So thank you, Brybro. Congratulations, pretty big win, and I think we need a little update here from Chatter. Because there's one piece of this, the understated a little bit, and I think that there's something that you might want to go bring to the forefront here. So is there anything you'd like to talk about for this week, sir?
Yeah, let's just jump right into it. So Runi, as everyone knows, the mint is going to be starting tomorrow. We have been kind of working behind the scenes on trying to land a big partnership for this launch. Really cool thing is there's a super small company. I'm not sure if you guys have heard them or not. They're called OpenSea.
OpenSea. Yeah, I've heard of that. Yeah. What do they have to do with this?
Yeah, so we are actually going to be doing a exclusive mint with OpenSea for the entirety of the Runi launch. I'm going to drop a little bit of eye candy there for you guys in the chat if you guys want to look at the drop page. But we've been working with them. Their team has been absolutely amazing to work with. What this means, though, is there's going to be kind of two separate mint dates. And then I'll talk about the partnership a little bit more in detail after that. So first off, we're going to be looking at two different mint dates. The first mint date is going to be October 25th. It's going to be starting tomorrow.
Yeah, that's tomorrow. That's pretty fast.
It's pretty soon. That's going to be for anyone with an allow-list spot. So that's people who won the ARG contest. That's people who bought a Runi component kit during the pre-sale. And that's also people who got a allow-list spot during any of the AMAs that 16-bit did. Please note that the page that I shared, there's still going to be a few things that need to be changed. That price of the ETH for the allow-list mint and everything needs to be changed. That was just updated for the Runi component kit. But how it's going to work is anyone who won the ARG stuff, they're going to get a free mint. Anyone who bought a Runi component kit, you're going to get a 50% discount. So it's going to be about $250 USD worth of Ethereum for the mint to purchase. And then anyone who got a allow-list spot during any of the AMAs that John did is going to be a full price mint. So about $500 in ETH, but you're guaranteed that mint. For the allow-list mint itself, and I'm sorry, this is going to be a lot of information to take in here, but the allow-list mint, the one that starts tomorrow, that's going to go all the way from October 25th to the end of November 1st. So you're going to have a full week to mint. You don't need to rush it. You don't need a mint first day or anything else if there's any time constraints or anything else there. So no stress. And then once that ends, we're going to be officially starting to roll over into the public sale. And that's where the partnership really kind of comes into play. So on November 2nd, if you go to OpenSea's homepage, right now, you'll see kind of explore, collect, and sell NFTs. You'll see a few notable collections. You'll see kind of what's trending and everything. Instead, we're going to be on that homepage. So everything above the fold on the homepage of OpenSea on November 2nd and November 3rd, it's only going to be Runi, which is going to be super, super cool to see. It's going to bring probably millions of eyes to our project. We're going to be doing a whole kind of not Twitter takeover, but we're going to do a whole bunch of guest posting on their Twitter. We're going to be doing email blasts to their entire kind of like active user base. We're going to be doing AMAs with them. We're going to be doing a whole bunch of different marketing. But again, what's really cool is that whole homepage above the fold is just going to be Runi. November 2nd, you're going to see the countdown clock start, and you're going to be able to essentially give yourself a reminder for the 3rd. And then on November 3rd, we're going to be opening it up for public sale and public mint. And then that's just going to run until all the Runis are minted. Just a reminder, there's going to be about 6,500 in total. We're seeing about 2,500 of those or so be taken up by allow list spots. Not all of them may be minted. Anyone that's not minted during the allow list will just roll back into the public sale, and then the public kind of sale or mint there is just going to be whatever's left over.
Yeah. So OpenSea feels like kind of a big deal. Does this strike you as like, hey, maybe this is our biggest marketing announcement to date, or is this like where do you think this falls in the spectrum of things that we've done?
Yeah, it's definitely been one of the bigger ones for sure. There's also spawned off a whole bunch of really cool conversations too. I was talking to the head of partnerships at OpenSea last week, and he's also good buddies with like the lead partnership guy at Riot, the same makers of like League of Legends and Valorant and everything. So we're trying to get discussions there going. Yeah, another small indie company. Yeah, so it's been really cool. I mean, it sparked a lot of really great conversations. The OpenSea team has been absolutely phenomenal to work with. Like we were up until late hours last night getting everything prepped for launch, and they're really stoked on this. So just knowing that they've actually been spending a lot of their time and are really excited themselves for this project is really cool to see too. But yeah, it's going to be a big launch. It's hopefully going to be a really great way for Splinterlands to start tapping into a completely kind of untapped space for us, for lack of better terms, in the ETH community. But hopefully this brings some more eyes to the project. Hopefully it gets a lot more players in the door, and hopefully this is a great way to kind of bring about a successful Runi launch as well.
And do you believe that to be possible? Like, I know that we're hoping is not always great, but like, you know, do you think like you've been in a lot of the meetings with kind of the other PFP projects? I think we booked over 100 of these things now. Like, are you feeling like there's not enough for everyone, or are you feeling like, oh, maybe we minted too many, or what's your current take on this?
Yeah, I like to stay pretty optimistic with this one. I think it's going to be a pretty quick sellout, if I had to guess, once the public mint is going to go on. I don't know what it's going to look like, so to speak, for the allow list, just because we've been giving out quite a few spots to AMA like viewers and listeners who have heard of us for like the first time in their lives. So saying, hey, come spend $500 for us without really hearing about us before, to someone who's just listening on AMA may not always be the easiest sell. But I think the people who are genuinely interested in all the PFP collections, are interested in NFTs with a ton of utility, some interoperability, is going to be a huge selling point for them with this drop. So I'm pretty optimistic. I think this is going to be a pretty fast sale, but I also think it's going to be a really great way to bring a whole bunch of eyes to the project. And the fact we've been able to kind of work with OpenSea, not just to get on the front page of the platform, but the fact that we're doing AMAs with them, we're doing like Twitlongers on their Twitter, we're doing a whole bunch of guest posting, so on and so forth. Just really goes to show that even like the team at OpenSea has really kind of believed in this project too, which is great.
Do you feel like this is a one and done kind of thing? Is this our one and only chance with OpenSea, or do you think that there's other opportunities for us to work with them? Or how does it start hitting you?
No, I think the door is wide open now. I mean, we have very open communication with their team. Again, they've been phenomenal to work with, super nice people. And then just on top of that too, like if you think about what we're doing with the smart contract, or just the contract to stake your Runi, I guess, is really going to be revolutionary with how we market. We can say, hey, anyone who owns a CryptoPunk or whatever, now go stake your CryptoPunk to this contract and come in and get another like guest card in our game potentially, or whatever else. There's a lot more doors that open with this play, whether it be with OpenSea or just in the ETH community in general. So I'm really excited there.
Yeah, definitely. If you can like wander into Splinterlands and then start seeing people fighting you with like Bored Apes and CryptoPunks, I think that'd be pretty fun. we got to figure out what would the card stats be and all that. And I start wondering about like fees and things, right? Because I don't, there's an infinite number of PFPs out there. So I don't just want like an infinite number of cards introduced into the game. But if there were like some fee paid or some staking requirements or something, that would limit, how many people can actually come in. But, seeing Bored Apes and seeing a couple of the other ones, like I'm personal friends with the woman that runs Fame Ladies. So, I think stuff like that would be neat. I just don't know any other way to say it than, figuring out a way to get these folks in here with their, mega flex PFP collections and actually giving them some kind of utility, which I think that they might appreciate. Like not everybody has been the Bored Ape Yacht Club. Not everybody has hosted all these parties that you can enter and do all this stuff. This seems like a neat way to allow that to happen.
Absolutely. Yeah, so you'll see, I think PR is going to be starting to go out in about 30 minutes or so here. I'm going to make a Discord announcement mid-town hall just for anyone else who isn't following as well, just for the embargo time. And then you should hopefully see kind of OpenSea. They're not going to be doing a ton of marketing as of today. Most of the marketing is going to be more so centered around that November 2nd and November 3rd date. But you'll start seeing a few posts out from OpenSea in the next kind of week or so here.
Okay, I mean, OpenSea feels like a big deal for me. It feels like, we talk a lot about trying to bring in new users into the ecosystem and into the platform. And this one actually feels like, trying to get gamers and trying to get people, just randoms off the street seems pretty hard. We've had some success converting Ethereum folk into Splinterlands players. But it's hard to like get their attention or something. I feel like this has a good shot of doing it. The second piece to me is something like I feel like we can go and like it becomes this is one of the really weird things about Web3 space is that you can get paid to market, and like this is not something that I would ever imagine before. But we have all these NFTs that live on the Wax blockchain, and after a couple months, Matt was like, "Oh, I haven't claimed any assets over there," and he did, and it was like $100,000 worth of fees that Splinterlands has generated. And that's on a smaller trading volume market. The Wax blockchain is smaller than OpenSea. But if this mint kicks off and players are constantly seeing us because we have some popular PFP project and we're constantly showing our website and our PFPs and our NFTs on Ethereum to that Ethereum crowd, and it generates interest and people are coming over here, there's some like cost associated with doing the mint to get started. But there's no like ongoing fees that we have to pay to OpenSea or anything to like just list the NFTs for sale. So it all becomes more or less free marketing to anybody that's viewing OpenSea. And I just don't see that anywhere else. There's nobody else that's going to be like, yes, you can live on our platform for as long as you'd like for no fee. And by the way, we'll pay you to be here. It's just, you just don't see that in Web 2, but that's how these marketplace listings work in Web3. Like, is that your experience with this? Do you know anywhere else where we can get this kind of exposure for as little money as we're paying for it?
I mean, it's really going to come through partnerships if we're looking at kind of low cost, high value exposure. We're talking to a few more really big names, hoping we can get those across the plate. I can't leak anything yet, but again, one of the big media conglomerates that we've been talking to, we're getting pretty close to contract phase here. And once those kind of MOUs and everything gets signed, we'll be able to release a lot more news. And that should hopefully be not just Splinterlands, but affecting kind of GLS, Splinterlands, and kind of any other tertiary projects after that. And
speaking of which, we have this like goals project, right? Can we do the same thing with the MLSPA players as we did for Runi? Can we do like a PFP project? Can we list famous soccer players as NFTs that could be imported into the goals game at a future date?
100%. Yeah, we've been talking to the MLSPA team and a few of the players. We actually have little bit of interest from quite a few of the players if we ever want to go that route too. So if there's interest in the community, if you guys want to see one of the bigger names and MLS scene come over to Splinterlands and kind of help design a promo card, and let us know, because we can definitely get that work done.
Well, not just a promo card for Splinterlands, but I mean, like, can we repeat this entire Runi experience for the GLX game? You know, could we take, you know, some of the more famous or top players and turn them into the GLX equivalent of Runis, and then have them be kind of like special cards? You know, if you own this PFP on Ethereum for these soccer players, it'll give you these kind of benefits in game if you choose to stake it there.
Definitely. And we can even go kind of above and beyond that too if we want. I know Adidas has done some really cool stuff with like, hey, go buy this NFT, but if you burn it, we'll go send you a pair of shoes in real life that only 100 people have, or whatever else. So potential for us to do the same thing kind of with soccer jerseys if we can get the sign off from the MLSPA team or whatever else there. But there's a lot of really cool ideas that we can kind of play around with.
Yeah, I dig this, man. I feel like this is a really, you know, PFP is not unique, but unique with kind of like this functionality. I just don't see it in most of what is out there for PFPs. And so, you know, I'll drag in Ron's response. Ron was like, you know, he heard that we were going to do a PFP project, and he's like, "Oh man, are you kidding me? That's disgusting." And then he heard like, "Oh wait, they have function, they have utility, they do the X, Y, and Z, and you can play it in game." And then he's like, "Oh man, I want 3 of these." So like, you know, I felt the same way. My first response to like, "Hey, we're going to do a PFP project," I'm like, "Meh, it doesn't have any utility. I don't really care." And now it's like, oh crap, I gotta go find a way to get all my Ethereum freed up to go buy a bunch of these. So I'm definitely feeling that FOMO. You know, it's not kicking in full gear tomorrow, because tomorrow is the allow list spots, but you know, it's definitely push and shove time about a week later. So okay, anything else you want to share on this, or any other piece that I think that players need to know or be considering when they're doing this?
I think that's pretty much it for Runi. As far as the actual kind of mint process goes, we've submitted all of the ETH wallets from the kind of allow list stuff. So all you should need to do is just log in to OpenSea using that same wallet address that you use for any like component kits or allow list spots. And then you should see that you're eligible for X amount of allow list mints, however many spots that you got essentially. There's going to be unlimited mints for the allow list side of things. And then for public sale, we're going to be maxing out at 3 mints per wallet. So if you're on allow list and you have 5 Runi component kits, let's say, you should be able to get all 5 of those. And then you can still mint an extra 3 on public sale if you wanted to. But I think that should be it for the most part. I'll be dropping some more posts throughout the week against it. Next one's going to be going out in like 20 minutes here. And then otherwise, we're just kind of trucking along on marketing. I know Nate's talking to some really big names in the comic book side of things. So hopefully we'll see some cool stuff going off there. And then lastly, from my side is just a note that we're going to be turning off the ARG contest pretty soon here, just to declutter the Discord server. But was really cool seeing everyone.
How did that go? I mean, it looked like there were 700, 800 people that went through that.
Yeah, it was pretty close to 1,000 with all the trickle in from the past couple of days here. But the first day, I think in the first like 30 seconds or whatever, we saw 200 or 300 people try and launch into it. So it was pretty awesome to see. Big credit to Squaba, to Bulldog, Guillermo, Hydra, and just everyone else kind of behind the scenes for helping pass that along. Joey and creative team as well for all the lore and stuff. But yeah, it was really cool to see. Definitely something that I want to do again. That whole kind of Oregon Trail like approach to GameFi and whatnot seemed pretty cool, and it sounded like the community had a lot of fun playing it. We'll make sure to make it a little bit less hard next time, I think, is the big takeaway there. We initially kind of wanted to do it for a multi-day thing, and then I think the big learning experience was we need to make it so it can be completable in a couple hours without clues or hints. So a few changes that we need to do next time, but overall, I thought it was a really cool experience, and really excited to see the next one.
Um, there's one call from Dishonesty in chat here to say, hey, can you give us the exact fees? And I guess I kind of want to like step back a little bit from just the fees, but do we have anything prepared for users that are like, it's always a pain in the butt to figure out the next system. Do we have like guides for how you're going to mint your Runi on a different blockchain?
Yeah, so we could definitely get a few set up. I'm not sure what we have as far as kind of available documents and everything like right now. I know some are being created at this point, but we'll definitely have a whole bunch of resources out there for you. I've also asked the OpenSea team just to make a like 0 to 100 doc for the community, just from everything from like setting up your account to participating in the mint. So hopefully, if all goes well, we'll get that from them today, and I'll be able to share that to the entire community here. And then as for the mints, I believe everything's optimized for low mints or like low gas fees, but we'll see. I'm not 100% sure what gas fees look like, but if anyone is struggling with gas fees, just shoot me a DM and we'll figure something out.
Okay. Well, I'm pretty excited. I know that everything we do is going to not go perfectly, and there's going to be a handful of people that are super upset, in part because they're going to miss out because of X, Y, or Z. That seems to happen every single time we do, new things. But with that little caveat of I can already feel the intense heat of a handful of very angry people at me. The other like 6,000 people I think are going to be really excited about this. And I'm excited to see where this goes, how it all unfolds, and I'm looking forward to getting my Runi and just seeing how well does the community respond to this, and not just like Splinterlands. I think that the allow list spots are going to go fly off the shelves, but the big question is going to be how many people from Ethereum start fighting over the Runis that we have out there. And I have some hope that even in like the giant bear market that we're in, this will actually be kind of like a nice bright spot and exciting. So, like the other piece of this is that like, we're doing this at a pretty affordable price at what I'm hoping is the bottom of a bear. It's our dream that players are able to experience some sort of asset appreciation, because there's just not enough for everyone. So we'll see if that actually happens. But our intention as a company is that we didn't put these up at $10,000 each. We put it down at $500 each because we thought that there would be lots of ways that the community themselves can sweep floors, grab new ones, and we think that these things will be scarce over time. But who knows? That it's impossible to know that is exactly what will happen. But I can tell you our intention was to make these very affordable, and that if there is an increase in price, that the vast majority of it goes to the players rather than to the business itself. Okay, well, Liam, I'm pretty excited about this. I think OpenSea. I think it's going to be a big deal. I think it's going to be pretty awesome. So rock on. Thank you, sir. And I don't know. We'll see you in Discord, and we're gonna keep our eyes and ears to the news. So thanks.
Awesome. Thank you.
Okay. Well, that's not all that we have for marketing. We have the illustrious WeirdBeard, our famous MC of the Splinterfest experience. And WeirdBeard, maybe you can go tell us what's going on in the land of brawls and tournaments in our little Brawlhalla segment here.
Well, I am pretty excited because we have another season of tournaments essentially behind us. We are doing pretty well on tournament numbers. That's the biggest thing that I think I've been excited to be able to see, has been how many people have been consistently entering into our tournaments. We're now entering around 10,000 people per season that are entering into tournaments.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Which is pretty dope. A lot of the tournaments have become more and more competitive. We're starting to hit like over 200 people per tournament. for a lot of different ones, especially our gold leagues have been really filling out. But the thing I'm most excited about is that we have coming up on the 28th, which is Friday, our very first Gold Modern League Splinterlands Open Tournament. Currently 174 people are currently entered into it, which is pretty good for our very first one. Again, there's no staking requirements needed for this. There's no CP required for this. All you need to have is a verified account, and it's 20 SPS to enter, because everybody has access to the exact same cards. And it's really cool to be able to see that there are people that are like, there's some bronze players, there's some diamond players, there's some gold players. It's like a really good grab bag and mixed amount of players that are getting in there. And there's a lot of people who are even competing at the original Splinterfest tournaments. So, seeing this start to fill out is going to be a lot of fun, I think, to be able to see what happens. I'm excited to be able to track the data to see what cards are played the most, and if there's any that are like OP and broken and absolutely picked every single time. But yeah, tournaments have been rolling. We're going to continue to. Just last week, excuse me, just last week we added into the Chaos Legion only tournaments. They are now Chaos Legion and Rift Watchers tournaments. We've added into the novice tournaments Rift Watchers cards. We've added Rift Watchers into all modern tournaments as well. So
That's going to really shake up that meta.
Yes.
Like, okay, how about we add this entire new collection of things that are totally different than what you've seen before? I think that's going to be a pretty big shakeup in meta and plays and potentially even like the leaderboard itself.
Well, again, because the tournaments that get the most participation are either Gold League tournaments or our Chaos Legion only tournaments. They're the easiest entry points for people who haven't played a lot of tournaments, who maybe don't have like a ton of older cards to be able to compete in some of these wild formats with. So they're really the most heavily trafficked by population. And now that we're adding in Rift Watchers, that's really going to see more people have to encounter and like take that in mind when they're building out and like constructing a deck to be able to go and compete in some of these tournaments with. Yeah, so I mean, we're plugging along on that end of those things as well. We're trying to get our plans for the next couple of months in line and see what we can do for support from the back end of some tournament stuff and some brawl stuff. Now that Splinterfest is sort of out of the way, little projects that are quality of life stuff that we're hoping to be able to knock out and get moving forward. Because again, we kind of sort of saw the first iteration of what a live tournament for Splinterlands is going to look like. And there's changes that we need to make it like super dope and super good. So working with the team for not only security purposes, but development on the back end purposes, doing all that stuff, plus looking down the road at, what do more live tournaments look like? What do we, if we're doing a ladder system and qualifiers for different regions and stuff like that, what does that look like? And how do we start executing that within the next couple of months?
Yeah. And with, we're going to be 1/3 sold out of Rift Watchers when the next 160 something thousand packs sell.
Mm-hmm.
So we're getting through it. I don't know how long it's going to take us to chew through this. I think a lot of that is like pretty market dependent. That if we're down here at 6 cent SBS, that there's not going to be a ton of buying. But if we get up to like, if for whatever reason the market recovers, I would expect people to be buying them faster.
Yeah.
So who knows what that speed is, but there's this kind of new forced demand of like, if you want to be doing well in tournaments and there's 10,000 people that presumably want to be doing well in tournaments, they're gonna want these Rift Watcher cards.
Well, I will also say the one thing that will also put some pressure on those pack sales are draft mode tournaments and pack battles. being able to really look hard at doing draft mode, I think, is one of the major focuses that tournaments should talk about, because literally every time you say draft mode, people just start typing in, all caps, like, oh my God, draft mode. Oh my God. Like, it's a really fun format. It encourages players to purchase new cards, and we can kind of, do more tweaking on the back end of making sure that it's, fun and accessible for players to get into. Plus you get to keep the cards afterwards. So, like, different things like that are definitely on our mind, and we're taking into account, because, they, like, again, I say this all the time, tournaments are the way that people get exposed to new cards that they've never played with before, right? Ranked meta is like, there's a meta to play, and if you don't play that meta, you are throwing, and if you don't have specific cards or card sets, you are going to be struggling at different levels. Whereas with tournaments, we can be a little bit more generous and build around, like, okay, what's the experience like here? Maybe we want people to play with, in these ghost card tournaments, cards that they've never played with before, and all of a sudden they go, oh wow, this card's amazing, I need to buy this card. Or, cards that they thought were bad before, and they don't remember the last time they played with it. They played with it one time and go, oh, I got to start playing with this one more. So, we're really, like, trying to use tournaments not only as a way for people to play with cards that they already own, but we need to expose them to those cards that they maybe haven't. And it's like, if you continually get your butt kicked by a certain Rift Watchers card in those Chaos Legion only, or those Scarred Hand Cup tournaments, all of a sudden you go, you know what? I need to do it. Like, I'm sick of losing to this one card. I want everybody else to feel my pain as well.
Yes, the pain drives so much. I love it. All right, so that what about aren't we talking about SPS brawls and brawl rewards and how all that stuff kind of is happening?
Yeah.
Isn't that kind of in the ether these days?
It's happening. We're Cryptomancer is back now, and he's working on, like, getting that SPS in brawls done very shortly. I believe that it's in QA testing even. So that the actual coding work itself is done, and that we want to have Cryptomancer on to be able to talk about that. And we also want to be able to do a Brawlhalla when that is released, so that we can just have it be specifically questions about, the economics of SPS in brawls, and questions that people have regarding that. And that should be soon. I also think that the other thing that we're kind of looking at is getting our roadmap of the most important things to knock out, because it feels like there's a lot of stuff that we need to be doing at the exact same time right now. And so I think that, like, between SPS and brawls being introduced, making sure that we rebalance the fray composition that we've talked about for a while as well, and then also really figure out, like, what is going to be the way that we make sure that guilds continue to move up in brawls and not just stay at the bottoms. We want them to go past, not just because tier 3 is like the conversation that most people have right now, when it's not really tier 3. It's like tier 3 has just been the moon so far. As soon as SPS is introduced into brawls, I feel like it's going to be a totally different world that is going to be hard to understand. Like, what does it look like afterwards?
I dig it. I'm looking forward to seeing how this all plays out. I think it's going to be, it's going to definitely change people's motivations.
Yes.
There's nothing like millions of SPS on the line to make you start thinking differently about, is this just some random thing that we do for fun, or is this a thing that we're going to take seriously because there's earning potential here? I think it's going to drive emotions, changes, people behaviors. Should be fun to witness the overall change in the meta.
Yeah, and I think the one last point I want to put on it is that, like, with tournaments and brawls over the next, like 7-8 months, like, we really want to make sure that we use, like, our onboarding of brand new players to immediately introduce them to tournaments and brawls. As it is right now, tournaments especially, but tournaments and brawls are sort of a, like, not kept secret, but, like, you have to dig, you have to go, like, it's that second layer of understanding to be able to understand it, right, and get into it. And we need to, while we're talking about all these new cool things and introducing features and making it, like, cooler for the players that are currently doing it, we need to make sure that we're focusing on those new players in the moment that they get into Splinterlands. Be like, hey man, here's tournaments, here's stuff that you can play day one for tournaments, here's how you get in, here's why you need to be in a brawl, you know, and a guild, and do things like that. And I think that's like, it's all part and parcel of not only introducing our players to it, but making sure they understand why it's so important that they compete and stuff like that.
Rock on. All right, WeirdBeard. Anything else on your brain?
I do, just help me make draft mode come to life. I will sacrifice as many chickens as I need to find some way to make draft mode happen, because the way, as soon as it happens, everybody's going to be like, damn, we should have done this earlier, because it's, draft mode's going to be so good.
All right, noted. I have that in my brain, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, I think we got to do some Splinterlands TV stuff. So maybe we can bring on Mr. Rondon himself, the show manager and station manager. Ron, what's on your brain, sir?
Wait, are you ready for this?
I don't know that I am emotionally or physically ready for this, but I think you should do it anyways.
Well, you want to do some town hall shout outs first? We don't have a lot this week, and I didn't even throw any weird.
But they're the two starting ones. So we have M How I M Howie and Howie's I
would say M Howie.
And Howie. All right, and then we have Jim Morgan. This is just you guys are the randomest. We got Lordo and the Jester Gamer. So it's a smaller number, but like last week we had like 8 people. So
well, last week was 2 weeks worth all piled together because we didn't have one for the
So thanks to you guys for watching our streams and hanging out with us. I think it makes a difference in the world. Do you have a clip of the week by chance?
I you know what? I don't. This week we just didn't want to do one.
That makes sense. I can see how that would be the case, Ron.
I'm kidding. We definitely do have one. And this week, I don't really know what happened. I've just noticed that for some reason, lots of our streamers were open up orbs. So I guess there was an orb fairy going around handing out orbs to our streamers. That's the only thing I can gather. And this week's clips were mostly centered around people opening up orbs. Now, one of those happened to win. And you know what? It was the Wizard Man who took the cake this week. So check this out.
Let's open it. Shake, shake, rattle, and roll. And we rolled, wow, into a Minotaur Warlord. Oh my, look at him shake and wiggle with his mouth open, screaming, I'm gonna murder you and annihilate you if you come my way. Oof. Wow, thank you so much for this gift. What an awesome one it was. I got a Minotaur, man. Even at a level 1, he's got 10 HP, 4-3, and guess what? Magic, reflect, man. Send, return to sender, as I like to say. Oh man, oh my. Wow, what a gift. Thank you so much. What a lot of love out here in Splinterlands community. This is why I love playing this game. A lot of love.
I've been there. You're like hovering over it, making it shake some more. I've been there.
You got to get all the value out of that, right?
Yeah, you're not done twerking for me yet, sir.
So listen, guys, if you want to participate in the Clip of the Week contest, we give away tons of SPS every single week for the best clips. The top 5 winners, all chosen by votes of the audience, win SPS. And of those top 5, we pick a main winner that wins 500 SPS. Now, all you have to do is watch Splinterlands TV, clip the best clip by clicking a little clipboard on the video, and then just make sure that you don't like start or end in the middle of a sentence or in the middle of a thought. Just try to make it one complete thought. Put your editing hat on and make it seem like one continuous thought, and then post it in our Discord. There's a Clip of the Week channel over on the Splinterlands TV, not the Splinterlands Discord, the Splinterlands TV Discord, and you will be entered automatically. We pick a winner every single week, and if yours wins, you also get played here on the Town Hall.
All right. I think what we need to do next is dive into some questions, and honestly, there's not too many of these, and the audience isn't too giant today, so it's possible that we're actually going to end a little bit early. But I'd say that now. We'll see what it actually looks like in just a second here. But we'll see what this is like. So there's really not that many questions. So let's see. The battle rewards. Currently, higher leagues have a bonus modifier for everything in chest except for common through epic cards. Is this something that is coming either to increase rarity pulls or increase BCX of card pulls? Higher leagues have a bonus modifier for everything in chess except common through epics. Is this something that's coming? I'm not sure that is this. Like, are we going to increase the amount of commons you get? I don't really understand the question, so I'm going to punt. Is there any update on a fix to Champion League battle rewards? Right now, ECR and card bonuses don't mean anything. I paid a lot for gold foil cards and would like for them to mean something again. Yeah, I thought that was tweaked again. So I think that had to go deal with doing a 1 day rolling average versus a 2 week rolling average. So I think that's covered, but we'll find out if that's not the ongoing piece. Splinterfest. Can we get the presentations from Splinterfest uploaded someplace so everyone can view them? Go for it, WeirdBeard.
They're currently being, they had to be shipped to us on a physical hard drive. So thanks to the postal service, they will be here very shortly.
When will the title from Splinterfest be available? I thought I saw an announcement about that. It's shortly, if not already, right?
Yeah, we're still waiting on confirmation, but once we get the confirmation from Matt, I'll have a post out for everyone on the title and the Lux Vega card.
Yeah, that stuff is coming pretty soon, folks. It's maybe not in October, but it probably early November. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, it should be around there.
All right. When will the Ethereum price for Runi be locked in?
So that should be all kind of set now. As per that page, we can still tweak it a little bit, but once we hit the allow list mint, that's when it's officially going to be locked, and it's just going to be essentially $500 worth of ETH at the time of kind of go live date.
Okay. Why hasn't the team shared the marketing AMAs they are doing for the Runi project? I would love to stop by and listen to some of these.
Twitter is the best place for that. We retweet every single one of those AMAs that we do for the most part. So if you ever want to kind of keep on board, just feel free to follow our Twitter and it should show up on that feed. John, myself, and PJ, we have done over 100 in the past 2 or so months. So it's just decluttering the Discord for the most part, but Twitter is the place to be for that.
Yeah, and I guess maybe put some of them or all of them into some channel in the Discord too, so folks can know.
Sounds good.
Aggro said he is open to the idea of burning chaos packs. Can you expand more on this? What might a potential time frame look like? Yeah, so I'm discussing that with the team. Maybe I don't want to like burn them all just at 1 second. I think it might look like, over a period of time we will start burning some. And I don't know when we'll start. I don't know how many it'll be. There's been a couple different numbers on this, but we're open to it. We'll see what that looks like. How much DEC does Splinterlands distribute to credit purchasers? Well, we don't distribute anything to the people that purchase credits, but for the folks that are buying cards on the market, it fluctuates every day. It could be somewhere between $20,000 and $40,000 that go back and forth. What are the benefits of titles in Tower Defense and Genesis League? So Genesis League is going to be separate. So we might have separate titles and they can have different abilities over there. I'm not sure that we've discussed what the benefits of titles will be in Tower Defense, but that's not an unreasonable question. Is there an estimated timeline for the Battles 2.0 system shown at Splinterfest? I wouldn't count on those anytime soon. It's like a back burner project that we keep trying to knock more out of. It is not one of the high priority projects, but we definitely like it. And then when will Blood Power Stones require vouchers to purchase? Has the exchange rate been finalized? So I don't know.
I was gonna say exchange rate has not been finalized, but we should be able to expect it. Cryptomancer said that it's part of the overhauls we're doing for brawls or guilds in general. I don't want to say without asking him specifically a date on it, but it has been being worked on. So sooner rather than later would be my my official input.
Rewards for brawls. I think we're targeting next week for some brawl updates. So maybe as soon as Tuesday of next week. But you know, the stuff is never certain. But I can pretty safely say in November. We are looking at November for that. What day in November, I don't exactly know, but it could be as soon as Tuesday. And that's it. That's all the questions we have for that. Why don't we do 10 or 20 minutes of questions for anybody that wants to put in anything, and then I'm hoping that we can end this thing a little bit early, be out of here by 11:30. So let me drive through these. Will we know the rarity of the Runi traits prior to the drop? And actually, I think I just missed Lunacy System. Do we have any details about the TD title? Like, what is it or when is it? I don't have that information on me handy. When Hardpoint's on or when one of the guys from Double Coconut's on, we can do that question. Will we know the rarity of the Runi traits prior to the drop? Well, we have the 6, right? So, you know, Nate's put out sort of the broad categories, but I don't think that we've seen a list of all, like, you know, hundreds of them. What is happening with the DEC that we use to buy Tower Defense Pack? Is it owned by that other team working on that project? Are they spending it, exchanging it? No, the DEC is looked at as company revenue. And then we're using that. Some of that is used to pay the team. Some of that is used to go exchange on the market. That's one of the primary things that happens with it. But no, that's just, you know, business revenue, working capital for the business. WeirdBeard mentioned about a draft option, which I fully support. But have we ditched production thought on the bracket or Swiss style tournament formats? No, I don't think it's one or the other. I think it's all, we want all these different tournament formats in there.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is understanding that my philosophy is always yes and. So like, what do we need to be able to do these things, right? Like Swiss brackets and draft mode are two different kind of formats. We should be able to work on two different projects at the same time, maybe not launching them at the same time, but at least having them in mind of that's what we want to be doing with it.
Question, is it possible to stop bots using some type of CAPTCHA in random battles? I mean, it's possible to do anything. This stuff is code. Is it likely that we'll ever introduce CAPTCHA into anything that we're doing? No. Question, any thought of adjusting the reward based on BCX instead of card level? Probably not. That gets really specific. But I mean, like, you know, we don't, if you're like halfway through a level, we don't want to like reward that. We want you to be either all the way at the level or not. So I guess my thought is no, but if Matt and other team members or this community was like really against that, then maybe that's something we'd look at. Questions, if burning packs, how would airdrops work? So my thought is that if we burn packs, we'll burn some packs every week or every month, and then depending on how many we burn, if it crosses over a threshold, you know, it would more or less count as packs sold. So if we were at, you know, I don't want to give numbers, but you know, once we burn enough to get to the next level, they would just the airdrops would happen. Question, will bloodstones or power stones as a voucher sync be available to all players to participate? Or will it require a high guild building level still? I think it still requires the high guild building level, though I haven't seen the sort of updated version of that, but I don't think we're changing the guild level stuff. Question, will Runi be more powerful than other PFP projects coming in? You know, I don't know that we will 100% have other PFP projects coming in. I imagine that Runi will be, but well, you know, it's the same thing. Like, name one card that's more powerful than others. You know, it's like, well, it's actually, is it more powerful in this rule set than not? You know, it's possible that, you know, in Little League, it's useless. So I don't have an answer to that. let's see. Question: how often will open tournaments run?
I mean, that's still a TBD, right? Like, we need to know what kind of community participation is going to be in it. We're still figuring out the kinks to this KYC stuff, since it's going to be our very first public open KYC tournament. And on top of that, as well, as we need to figure out how it's going to impact the economy. We need to still reward owned card tournaments and make sure that people understand that participating in tournaments where you own the cards is still a more valuable path to finding SPS and DEC rewards. But, you know, again, we want to make it frequent enough that new players are able to enter into them, that people are able to be exposed to new tournaments of different levels without having to wait months in between. So I think it's in a bit of a IDK moment right now, and hopefully we'll be able to figure out some more with people who are smarter than me. I'm just a dude who does tournaments, man. Like, I want to make sure, because it's like we're having to balance a lot of people all at the same times. There are people who are very scared, being like, ghost card tournaments make owning cards make no sense. Why would you should just do tournaments that don't, you know, have anything. And I think that's goofy and not true. But I also think that we need to be able to make sure that those people understand that we do want them to still participate in these tournaments, if that makes sense.
Yep. Yeah. Will you consider to lower the airdrop requirements for purchase Chaos Legion packs to unlock the remaining legendary summoners? I don't know. That's like a Matt question. If we actually do, you know, we'll consider lots of things. So, but I'm not normally the one that's like, here, let me tell you the numbers. That's more of like Matt and the devs that are on that. So is 100% sure that the price of 0.19 ETH won't change anymore for 50% off the whitelist sale, so I can buy ETH right now? No, you want to do that once the allow list is launched, or you might want to do it earlier. But you know, it's not going to get set until the allow list thing actually starts. How often will open tournaments run? Did we answer that? Yeah, I think we just did that. Okay. Question. Some months ago, you were talking about a team of devs dedicated to the mobile app. We still have that. Is there any planned release to make that app better? So the mobile app is like a big question in our company, because we're not entirely certain what to do with it. I think the long-term goal is to make it so that there's not a mobile app that is separate from the standard code base. And we just wrap the entire code base. And that way we're not like constantly trying to build two sets of code or whatever. And that's a big chunk of what the tech modernization is about, is trying to make this stuff, you know, usable across multiple devices and programs and all of that. So, you know, in the meantime, I think it'll continue to be like not as complete as the live site, although we are trying to catch up. But over time, at some point, we'll get the critical details we need inside the web app, and after that we'll just be like, oh look, now we can turn on, now we can like flip it on and it'll have full utility, or at least it'll have the option to turn everything on. Question: is there any new balancing on the amount of rewards cards going to champion? Not that I know of. I don't, they're constantly or rewards going to champion. Not that I know of. But that doesn't mean that there's not. With continued new offerings of titles in Splinterlands, can you speak to what value titles will have in game moving forward? For example, will they provide access to exclusive airdrops or provide any other benefit to holders of them within the game? If not, what is their value? So that still needs to be determined. The biggest spot that we're anticipating that the titles will participate is in land. And there's still a lot of open questions in land, so I can't tell you 100% what they'll do. But you know, besides the social aspect, I think that they'll give you a variety of permissions in land. Question: instead of burning the Chaos Legion packs, why not allow vouchers to give a 1 or 2 discount for all packs and increase the chance of selling out without any burns? We need more reliable voucher syncs. I guess I'm not going to say no to that, but I guess my answer is something like, hey, we have plenty of voucher syncs. The problem is that we've seen demand destruction. My take, I can't tell you 100% what happened, but my take is that there's a nearly infinite number of voucher syncs. The problem is that there's demand destruction right now that's sort of eating away at the desire of people to spend them. So, or even hodl them. So maybe putting in, but I'm not sure that like making packs a lot cheaper is going, like, it might solve a voucher problem, but that sounds like it would cause a card value problem. So I'm not sure that that's a trade-off that I want to make. But you know, that this is the kind of stuff that's on that conversation around, like, what are we going to do with the cards and how do we deal with it? How are you? How's the team doing? Thanks for these town halls. I'm pretty good. You know, it's been a stressful month for sure, and I think the team feels that, but I think we're getting to the end of it now. So we'll see. Hopefully November is a little bit calmer than these previous months. Question: besides the brawl, are you also working on the guild interface, or is something in the pipeline? And it would be helpful to send some ideas or suggestions. Yeah, I mean, go tell WeirdBeard anything that you want, and just let them know what you're interested in. I don't know how much guild interface is changing, but you know, there's stuff that's in the guild pipeline.
Correct.
What will we see what our minted Runi looks like on the 25th? Yeah, I think that we're getting it and seeing it, like you're actually minting the NFT. Question: instead of burning Chaos Legion packs, can you make an event where you compete a set of quests, earn you a Chaos Legion pack per day, or use 1 to 2 vouchers to lower the cost per Chaos Legion pack? Yeah, that's kind of like Quantum Nacho's questions. I have mixed feelings about it. We'll see. I don't want to commit either way. Question: I know you are working hard on land, that it will be great, but can you give some directions where things are going? E.g., alpha beta cards should get some bonus, as well as legendaries or higher level cards. With the current proposal, under level cards, useful older cards are getting devalued. It would be great, and how they come back into land play. It would be great to hear something before people reallocate low level cards to max level Chaos Legion ones. Yeah, I mean, you know, this is the place where we say something like, it's still in development and it's hard to tell you exactly what it'll be. Anything I tell you right now is just subject to change anyways. And that kind of stuff doesn't really change until there's the white paper out. Question: how is the Spawn promo card coming? So we're still in discussions with those guys, and I'll let you know when they're finalized. What about a chat function in Splinterlands? So there is a guild chat, but it's not open to everybody. We've had conversations about this, and I don't know where it lands in terms of the other priorities. What actions are currently in the pipeline to attract new players from outside of Splinterlands ecosystem besides Runi and tower defense? I mean, right now the biggest focus is on Runi, so let's go see how that goes, and then I can tell you what other things are going to be coming in. 30% go to Apple. That's not a question. If I have a gold foil and a higher level regular foil of the same card, but they're both being limited by the league I'm in or the summoner I'm using, can we make it so that the gold foil is displayed by default instead of having to switch back and forth between them on the team select screen? Yeah, the team knows about that, and that we should do something about it. And you know, we'll see where that fits in with other priorities. Question: is there plans to incorporate the Hive social aspirations into the game? Is it possible to have a chat that posts to a channel in Discord? I mean, it's possible to have lots of different things, and I know that integrating chat is a good thing, but it's also a big project, so I don't have a specific answer on that. Question: are you guys working on the Transact and Hive allowing us to buy SPS? Thanks. Yes, and some of that is the exchanges themselves, because of the hard fork, are blocking certain transactions. So that's more of like a Hive thing than it is a Splinterlands thing. So Luthien saying, not a question, but a statement. I love the idea of vouchers giving a discount on chaos packs. All right. I mean, one thought I've had is sort of like raising the price of packs a little bit and then allowing vouchers to discount the price of packs. So that's something that's on my brain. I don't know. I don't know what that looks like. I got more questions than answers. Questions for chatter. I have an allow list spot for Runi. I've connected my ETH wallet to OpenSea. Where do I see my allow list spot in OpenSea? So chatter, maybe you can answer that in a response text.
Yeah, I just responded to him
Okay.
there, but pretty much once you log in with the same wallet address that you used for the pre-sale on the website, you should have a spot on the actual mint page saying, hey, you have XYZ amount of allow list spots that you can start minting once the mint starts. So as long as you're logged in with that same wallet, you don't need to do anything more. You should be all set.
Okay. A question on more Chaos Legion packs currently being sold or distributed through rewards. I actually don't know the answer to that. I don't track that ratio. Question: as someone who plays 95% from the app only because the website is not user friendly on my iPhone, why not scrap the app and just make the website more user friendly on mobile? I mean, that's basically the goal, is to make the website like perfectly playable on mobile devices, and then make wrappers for it so that they fit into stores. So that's what you're describing is basically tech modernization, and it's a beast of a project. Any interesting updates to the status of the non-card market protocol? Excited for it. No, Jarve, we didn't talk about that, but the non-card market is scheduled for early December. So we'll see if we hit it, but we now have like a date that we are planning around. It's early December, and we're hoping that goes live then. And again, that's another big prereq for getting land out. So things are lining up that we'll get stuff out in December. Maybe land it croaches into Q1, but we're getting a lot of the prereqs knocked out. Question: maybe the DAO buys packs and can distribute somehow. Yeah, if the DAO wants to go buy packs from Splinterlands, I'm okay with that. I don't know that there's like a strong sentiment behind that, but that's something that we could consider. If BTC drops under 5,000, will Splinterlands survive? Yeah, we'll definitely survive. The question is, how long would we survive? You know, we would probably, in that case, we're going to have to get really freaking lean, because it's probably going to mean like a crap ton of demand destruction, and we'll have to do everything we can to get our expenses low. So, you know, we'll see what happens. I don't personally foresee us going to 5,000, but, you know, we have a variety of kind of like scaled plans of, you know, what happens here or there. You know, how much this is part of why we carry like a bunch of cash and crypto on the books, to make sure that, you know, we have some runway in the case of extreme shitty economic conditions. Can Splinterlands create a stream kit that includes logo signage for backgrounds that can be purchased by streamers? Don't we just give that stuff away, Ron? I think there are stream tools, right?
So right now we are actually working on a page that is going to be for all streamers. Right now, so if you want something right now, my suggestion would be to go to baronstoolbox.com. He has a bunch of cool little overlays and stuff you could throw onto your stream, and also check out the Eye Candy channel in the Discord. There's a bunch of like wallpapers, characters, animated art, and stuff like that. But all of that stuff and more is going to be organized into a neat little page on splinterlands.tv very shortly. We've already got the icon made. We've already got some stuff set up for it. But right now we're working on some internal tools that we have to finish first before we can move on to that.
So Salome is asking, is there any plans for tokenized guilds? I have an empty one, and it would be amazing to have a market for that as well. Yeah, my ideas are even more complicated than that. You know, it would be something around like a multi-sig wallet, an account that is separate than, say, your personal account, and that's what your actual guild is. A guild is a multi-sig wallet account, but there's no tooling, and there's like a ton of problems with that, and it's not like the next thing on the list. So maybe in the short term we can tokenize a guild token or something. I don't know what that looks like, but there's something there, and I want that to be more robust than what it is. Would Splinterlands be open to a temporary replacement of vouchers to a lower USD value accepted in game, or reducing the daily print rate of vouchers? So yeah, we're probably going to go through it. I think we have too many vouchers in the system, and so I think it was below what we need at a higher price of Bitcoin. But this is definitely too much at the $19,000 volume of Bitcoin. So I think we need to design things less for current market conditions and more around what will things be like at really terrible market conditions. So my thought would be something like, you know, pretty drastically reducing the print rate of vouchers. But that, you know, that's like an SPS proposal, and I don't know how the players would feel about that. But that's something on the radar, or a possible plan. Question: will our minted Runi tomorrow will be playable then as well? No, I think it's going to take us into November, maybe December. What happened with Ali? Is she still partnered with SBL? Yeah, those guys are still playing. They still like what is it? Raid our team. I think that they're still building tournaments. They're around. With all those partnerships will kind of like ebb and flow, but they're great people, and I think we're still moving along with them at different rates and speeds. Will there be a PvP or co-op mode for tower defense? Not on the day that it launches. DAO buy and burn packs, distribute airdrops to staked SBS holders. Yeah, maybe if that were really popular. These are not all questions. Aggie forgot to mention some stuff about TD. Once you get to this comment, can I drop back on for 2 minutes? Sure, Chatter. Why don't you go tell us about TD?
Awesome. Yeah. So I was talking to the team, both Double Coconut as well as Hardpoint last week, and we're going to be doing a few contests. So there's going to be something like 20 odd spells and a whole bunch of different towers and everything in the game. What they have allowed us to do is actually run a fan contest for the community to help design one of the spells. So there's going to be two different things going on. One is going to be a contest, which I'll announce probably next week during the town hall. But if you guys want to help design a spell and really have your place immortalized in the tower defense game, it's going to be free to enter. And we're going to have a whole big thing for that. And then there's going to be another helping design a spell and everything else for a separate contest, which we haven't designed yet. So a few things going out. We're going to be giving away some free towers and everything as well. So just heads up, that's on the horizon, but figured I'd note it here. And then next week we'll have more details on that.
Okay. Question: are SPS LP staked on high BSC and ETH chains eligible for the GLX airdrop? Nope. Only the ones that are like it when you click stake, that's what's eligible, not the ancillary or like liquidity pool stuff. Is Hardpoint alive? Yes, he is alive. They're all super busy, and I don't know. He's around. The devs don't come on every time. But actually, I want to get him on fairly soon. I want to go do sort of like another project roadmap update. So we'll get Hardpoint back on here before too long. Question: when user proposals? Yeah, that's on the list. I don't know when that'll get done. Any update on the Warner project? Yeah, I have a couple texts that I need to go get back with them and just keep chatting. Have one project that's been greenlit. There's another one that they're pretty excited about. So, and now they're asking me about a third. So I got to figure out how to get all this stuff done and where to do it and where to get the people and all that. Not a fan of buying and burning. Moving on. Gene Pool is asking, would it be better to use the outstanding vouchers to create utility for them in the form of common promo cards? 1 BCX per voucher with 400 to max every few seasons would use up a lot of vouchers. Could also have a voucher auction for players to help design those cards to create utility in the form of common promo cards. Yeah, I don't know. There's lots of options. What we want to do with it is sort of a whole community thing. All right. I think this is going to be the last question that I answer here. This one from TC. Question is, part of that is being unstaked also eligible for the GLX drop? No, it's only the stuff that's staked. It's literally if you have it staked. Right. It's only if it's staked. You have to have it staked. No. You can get yeah, but he's just asking for the GLX airdrop. So I don't know every little part of like how staked or unstaked affects every reward system that's in Splinterlands. But it's relatively simple for the GLX airdrop. It is only counting staked SPS, not unstaked, not in liquidity pools, not anywhere else. It's just if it's staked or not. And that's what I got for this morning, fellas. Really appreciate everybody's time as always. We do our best to give you guys as much cool stuff every single week as we can. To me, I guess the biggest thing coming out of this is the look, there's a giant freaking OpenSea takeover. Basically, we're taking over OpenSea, and they're going to go help us spread the word on Runi. And then who knows what that'll turn into. But it's also, if that has any kind of success, it ends up being like a giant long running marketing plan for Splinterlands to have this stuff available over there. So I'm excited about it. I'm grateful for this. I think there's lots of good things happening. And maybe that I can use that as a bridge to get the land being tradable over there. Maybe not every 5-cent common card, but something like a tract or a region might do really well over there. So anyways, I appreciate you guys. Thanks for being here. Thanks to the team. Thanks to the community. And we'll catch you next week. Thanks everybody.